She yelled at him, accused him, threatened to have him removed. But when this teenager calmly dialed his uncle, the flight didn't just pause, it never took off. Jalen Carter wasn't looking for attention. At 16, his version of a perfect trip was simple. Board the plane, grab his window seat, plug in his headphones, and zone out until landing. Nothing more, nothing less. That morning, at Sacramento International Airport, something just felt a little off. Not dramatic, just off. Subtle things, a gate agent who didn't smile back, glances that lingered a second too long. Still, Jalen stayed polite. His grandmother had always taught him that, "Don't give people a reason to label you," she'd say. "Be better than what they expect." He had just spent a week with her in Redding, helping her recover from knee surgery. Grocery runs. Tending to her small garden. Teaching her how to use the new smart TV remote. Nothing flashy. Just time, presence, and quiet respect, the kind of visit that made his mom proud. His return flight to Atlanta had a short layover in Phoenix. Sacramento to Phoenix an easy leg. Or so he thought. Boarding pass in hand, Jalen stepped onto the plane. His seat was 14A window. Perfect. He liked watching takeoffs, the ground shrinking below him. But when he reached row 14, a man was already there, half asleep with headphones on. Jalen hesitated. Checked his ticket. Then looked up to see a flight attendant walking down the aisle. She looked to be in her 50s, with stiff blonde hair and a silver name tag that read, T. Wexler. "Excuse me, ma'am," Jalen said calmly. "I think there's someone in my seat 14A. Wexler didn't even glance at the boarding pass. "That's not your seat," she snapped. "You're supposed to be in the back." Jalen blinked. "No, I was assigned 14A. It's in the app. There must have been a change at the gate. Could you check?" "I don't care what your app says," she barked, raising her voice. "You go sit where you're told." Nearby passengers looked up. One man raised an eyebrow. A woman clutched her purse tighter. But no one said a word. Jalen took a slow breath. He'd been in uncomfortable situations before. But this felt different. She wasn't just brushing him off. She didn't see him as a person. Just a disruption. "Please," he repeated calmly. "Could you just scan the ticket?" "I said go sit in the back," she hissed. "Or I'll have you removed." Her voice was loud, now too loud. Phones came out. Faces watched. A kid across the aisle stared with wide eyes. An older couple whispered to each other. Jalen's heart pounded. Not from fear. From shame. From frustration. He wasn't doing anything wrong. So why did it feel like he had to prove he belonged? He opened his app, held out the screen. "It says 14A. Right here." Wexler didn't look. She crossed her arms and stepped closer. "Are you refusing to comply with a crew member's instruction? Because that's a federal offense." Something inside Jalen shifted. Not anger, resolve. He reached into his backpack and dialed. "Uncle Z," he said when the line picked up. "I need you." The entire energy in the cabin changed. "Tell me what's happening," Zaire Carter said on the other end. "Calm. Direct. Already moving." "She's yelling. Told me to sit in the back. Won't scan my pass. People are watching. I haven't raised my voice once." From a row behind him, someone muttered, "Just let the kids sit down already." Jalen stayed standing, phone in one hand, boarding pass in the other. Wexler took another step forward. "Is that a phone call?" Jalen nodded. "I'm speaking with my attorney." She blinked. "Who's your attorney?" Her voice dripped with doubt. Zaire spoke up, loud enough for the cabin to hear. "Zaire Carter, Civil Rights Division. You might want to rethink your next move." Wexler's eyes narrowed. But instead of answering, she turned to the front of the plane and clicked her intercom. "Captain, I need someone removed from seat 14A. Passenger is noncompliant." A ripple of murmurs spread through the cabin. "He's not even in the seat," someone said. "This isn't right," another added. "He just asked a question." Finally, a woman across the aisle stood up. "I saw it," he asked calmly. She jumped on him. "Ma'am, please stay out of this," Wexler warned. "Not this time." Jalen turned slightly, phone near his mouth. "Uncle Z, people are recording now." "Good," Zaire said. "Tell them to keep filming. I'm contacting the airline directly." "What's the flight number?" Jalen read it off the placard. "Bay 4312. Sacramento to Phoenix." "Got it." "Stay calm. Say nothing else to her." Meanwhile, Wexler muttered into her walkie, eyes darting. Every few seconds, she looked at Jalen like he was a fuse about to blow. But he just stood there. Then another flight attendant approached. Older, salt and pepper hair. His name tag read G. Nolan. He looked uncomfortable. Son, he said gently. Can I see your boarding pass? Jalen handed it over. Nolan scanned it, checked his device. His eyebrows rose. You're in the right seat. There was a reassignment at the gate. Wexler whirled. That can't be. The manifest. His name is here, Nolan cut in. It's in the system. Last minute change. The silence was thick. Jalen didn't gloat. Didn't smirk. He simply stepped past her and sat down in 14A, phone still in his lap. Wexler spun and stormed to the galley. Someone whispered, "She's going to regret that." Jalen's heart still raced, but he forced himself to breathe. He texted his uncle. They see it now. Good, Zaire replied. Let me handle the rest. In his office in Oakland, Zaire was already moving. His assistant, Darnell, had flight data pulled up. Phone lines ringing. Legal contacts alerted. I want someone from Blue Wave Air Legal. Now, he said. Skip PR. Already dialing, Darnell replied. Back on the plane, Jalen stared out the window, trying to calm himself. The man beside him, a stranger in a ball cap, spoke without turning. She came in hot. No reason. You handled that right? Thanks, Jalen whispered. From a few rows up, a young woman in a yellow hoodie stood. If you saw what just happened, save your videos. Don't delete anything. The truth matters. More phones rose. In the cockpit, Wexler was losing her grip. The captain had been informed. She used the word non-compliant again, but she wasn't in control anymore. Zaire had a junior lawyer on the phone. They sounded bored until he said his name. This is about your flight BA 4312. My nephew, Jalen Carter, was publicly misrepresented and humiliated by your employee T. Wexler. I have multiple witnesses and footage. If that plane takes off without intervention, we're filing a civil action before the wheels leave the tarmac. Silence. I'll notify the captain, the lawyer stammered. On the plane, the captain's voice came over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been advised of an issue that requires immediate attention. We'll be returning to the gate. Gasps. Murmurs. People exchanged looks. A younger flight attendant, brown-skinned, nervous, knelt beside Jalen. I saw what happened. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. And you handled it better than most adults I've seen. Jalen gave a small nod. Thanks. His phone buzzed. She's being pulled, Zaire said. They're not letting her fly. The plane stopped. The door opened. 2 airport security agents boarded, followed by a Blue Wave supervisor in a navy blazer. She walked straight to Wexler. Ms. Wexler, we need to speak with you. Wexler's mouth twitched. She stood, walked the aisle, never once looked at Jalen. 10 minutes later, the supervisor returned. She knelt beside Jalen. Mr. Carter, I want to personally apologize. The flight attendant involved will not be continuing. You did nothing wrong. Jalen looked her in the eye. Why did it take a phone call to be heard? She didn't answer right away. Sometimes it takes one voice to wake everyone else up. The rest of the story, what happens next, what goes viral, what Blue Wave does or doesn't do, how Jalen's life changes after, unfolds with quiet but powerful force. But in that moment, Jalen Carter didn't need to be a symbol. He just needed to be seen. And finally, he was.